Hi, I am Stephanie Galvan Russell, and I am going to tell you about my KWL with what I know, what I want to learn, and what I love about new professional development strategies. So, what I know about are MOOCs, which are the huge on demand platforms where you can learn what you want to know. I'm really excited to try those and learn more about them, but I am familiar with them. I have used virtual reality, case studies, on the job learning, design thinking, self exploration, personalized learning, virtual mentoring simulations, and crowdsourced learning in my experience as a librarian, having to provide professional development for other teachers. I have found that crowdsourced learning is a lot of fun, where you are getting information from the crowd on what they know, as well as what massive groups of people know to present that kind of information to whoever you're offering professional development for. I also am a huge believer in personalized learning. If a person doesn't feel personally connected to what they're learning, whether it be for professional development or anything, then it's not going to work. And so virtual mentoring is also something that I think goes along with that, and it's something that I have used as a librarian. I was a mentor to other first year librarians this past school year, and I used virtual mentoring to get together with them and to talk about them. Along with that, I'm going to talk about what I love. So, the what I know and what I love are different in that what I know are things that I'm familiar with and have tried, but they're not on my what I love column, because these are things that I am a huge believer in and that I practice all the time. So I am a YouTuber and I am also a podcaster. And so I use both of those to not only give out professional development, but to receive professional development. And I am constantly looking for things that I can either watch or put on and listen in the background while I'm doing dishes or walking my dog or doing something where I'm still going to be able to absorb that knowledge. Along with that, I am a huge believer in voice and choice, not just for students in schools, but in adult learners, as well as flipped learning. So one of my favorite things to do in virtual mentoring was to say, here, you're going to pick from this menu, kind of like a tic-tac-toe board of things. You're going to do it. And then when we have our time together, we're going to discuss it. And I feel like doing that really helps people connect with what they're going to learn, because if you're not going to have choice, or your voice being shown in what you're doing, then you're more so just going to be trying to fulfill requirements than actually learn something. So when I've seen that when somebody truly has a connection to what they're learning and they get that option to pick what they want to learn, then they're going to get more out of it. On that same note, reflective practice is something I'm a very huge believer in. I have a blog where I journal, and I reflect on what I'm teaching, what I've learned, as well as what I want to learn. And on-demand learning, I feel, goes with conferences and PLNs, because a lot of the conferences that I've been to will offer on-demand learning afterwards, so that you can go back and look at what maybe you missed, or something that you want to look at again later. And in that same note, I love going to professional conferences where I can learn more about my craft, where I can learn new skills, where I can learn from my peers and my PLN. As a librarian, we're often singletons. And so I formed a PLN using YouTube and Instagram. And now I don't feel so alone. And I have a group where I can bounce ideas off of and get feedback from. And that group has just been an amazing support. And in all of those things, I have found that micro credentials are a huge thing that you can use to get teachers to do your professional development. I am a example of that, because if there is a course or something I can watch or something that I can do that I'm going to get a micro credential or a badge from that I can put into my e-portfolio, I'm going to do it. I love badges, and I find that other teachers do too. And then we use e-portfolios to show what we're learning. And I think that is an amazing, amazing tool that we can use. Micro learning is something that I am a little familiar with, but I didn't put it on what I know, because I'm still learning and I want to learn more about it. The rest of that column: adaptive learning, blended learning, campaign, context-based learning, embodied learning, experiential learning, incidental learning, informal learning, mobile learning, open source learning, point of need learning, skill-based learning, social learning, and story-based learning, are all terms that I was not familiar with until Dr. LaPrairie put those into our Google Drawing. And so these are terms that I'm really excited to learn about. I'm already starting to research them and find out more about them, but anything that I can do to grow my own professional development practice, as well as professional development that I provide, is something that I am very willing and excited to do. So again, this is what I know, what I want to learn, and what I love. And I did a blend of all of the information that we provided in our Google drawing, as well as the terms that Dr. LaPrairie put in there for us as buzzwords. So that's my KWL. Thanks for watching.